looking to go Steve against Syrup. This is going to be a fun matchup because these two met on the opposing sides on doubles. So now we're going to have to see how this plays out in a one-on-one brawl.
We're getting a real good taste of NJIT's Smash scene thus far, because every Thursday you see players like Z- and you see 4Lukaska. So you see a lot of Steve, a lot of Luigi, a little bit of Kazuya here at NJIT, and we're getting a good taste of it as the Ness, normally piloted by Jansen, is here with Syrup today, and Syrup, a different beast for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. This kid's insane. I mean, first seeing him, I was like, okay, maybe I'm not impressed. He's got a good punish game, though. His adaptations between then and now have been phenomenal, and he has solidified himself as even a world-class threat.
Yeah, and that punish game, as you mentioned, is such a force for him, Turtle Hands. Like, it is, like, he adapts in neutral, but when he finds his hit and finds his starters, like, that is the claim to fame for Syrup, making use of the fully tilt in the direction of Ness's new metagame, which is all about finding the kill and finding the conversion.
Yeah. Grabbing the ledge is always a dangerous proposition against Steve, especially with the shield damage that Anvil has in store for him. I like the patience here from Syrup, not really rushing the situation, just kind of seeing what Lukaska wants to do in these corner situations and punishing him for it. This time ready for the Anvil and jumping before the landing hitbox comes out.
Yeah. And with the up air as well, realizing that Lukaska would be above him. Pretty strong stuff. So yeah, it looks like Lukaska has burned through all of his dirt. In terms of raw materials, left with wood and now stone, which you're going to find primarily on Pokemon Stadium 2.
Yep.
One of the main reasons that this stage is so good for Steve. Not only is it long, but your materials are almost exclusively going to be stone, iron, and the special and
exactly.
The specialty
Yep. And that's definitely a big draw, but people love playing on the stage layout anyway, and Steve maybe might get those tools no matter what stage you play on, just because of how strong his keep away game is. So most people don't mind taking Steve here.
Yeah, it's a
dangerous proposition, no?
Yeah, it's not only the tools, it's the raw blocks. Having to fight through stone instead of dirt matters a ton as the game goes on. And of course, having plentiful of iron means you can freely use Anvil and Minecart without having to worry about your material game as hard.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, trying to catch that jump in, or perhaps a minecart with that up air. Steve's movement is terrible until he presses side B or roll. So it can be really hard to pin him down.
And proving troublesome for Syrup, who's able to find strong hits, but things that'll kill bouncing off of blocks. It's interesting to see Lukaska play a little bit more.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, man, it's still not killing. It's a little bit more freeform, I want to say, where he's not just like building like concrete structures, but rather letting himself land on blocks in midair and using that as just like, I'm gonna like step ladder my way down instead of just fall freely.
Yeah, and every time he lands on one of those blocks, he refreshes his double jump. So that's a very, very strong tool to be able to have in disadvantage.
That's where you don't want to be. Center stage is such a threat with Syrup on platform like this. Dashing forward, maybe looking for a dash or roll away or something like that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's a setup. Syrup air dodge is fearing the up smash, but Lukaska does not hard punish.
You're in a rough spot here, Syrup, but the PK Thunder gets him out of that one.
Oh my gosh,
that was so
cheeky.
Yeah, I kind of respect that, seeing the boost as well coming out from Lukaska. He's at a huge lead and has plenty of gold to make use of the powered minecart. Wow, the climb with the Anvil, he's still surviving. But another one bites the dust to that first minecart. If you come in that zone, you have to start anticipating minecart coming out.
Yeah. I mean, it's so tough, right? Because we assumed that once you were able to
he's still surviving,
better,
but another one
much
bites
less
the
of a
dust.
threat. But smarter players realized, okay, that move is extremely strong. It's safe shield pressure no matter what Steve does. You can roll out of it and maybe jump over it, but those are your only two options other than hitting it. And that is a commitment in and of itself, and if you get the timing wrong, you get command grabs. It can be so tough for that to deal with that option. So Syrup ends up falling privy to one of the strongest and deadliest traps and simplest traps that he has.
Man. Oh, the turnaround with the up tilt as well, getting more damage off of it. It feels like DI is, as characters stay out, DI against their combos gets better and better. But Steve has just so many easy ways to switch up the to switch up himself and to cover a lot of space using like block cancels and V reverse block placements to turn Steve around on a dime and turn his normal like 40 to 50% combos into like 80 to death.
Man, and Lukaska's back air fencing, bro. He is throwing out every single tool at his disposal in order to keep this child away from him.
Oh, I kind of like that from Syrup. He did the up-angled F-tilt instead that time. Instead of putting himself in the air, you almost want to have access to shield so much. And wow,
that was an unfortunate trade. Definitely not what Syrup wanted, but Lukaska counting his blessings, not being stuck in a ledge trap scenario. Yup. The golden rails, the power rails, are just way faster than the normal minecart.
Good stuff from Lukaska, counterplaying that up smash on shield pretty effectively. It's been a rough time for Syrup finding stocks. He always wants to go for forward air as just a safety measure to the point where like uppers may start killing, but are just so much harder to land. There's a back air, but like finally getting that back air. Syrup's favorite move for sure. He loves that back air. Wow, the drag down with the up air. Excellent stuff from Syrup. Unfortunately, the fair is not strong enough to delete the minecart. Only Bear will be strong enough. Trying to chase down Syrup, Lukaska as much as possible. There's
That's a very difficult situation. You always want to stay out of that burst forward air range that Steve has.
Yeah, and you miss the tech on that, then you are just privy to a very, very strong up smash.
Yeah, you're toast.
Yeah,
you're gone.
You're quite literally toast.
Okay, now getting the tech on the block.
I wonder if that was anticipated for, thinking that the bounce off the block would, I mean, do something to keep Lukaska off stage, but finding his way back to stage has not been a problem for Lukaska at all.
Yeah, seriously, 140, 150 plus now. I mean, Syrup is swinging, but he's not getting the decisive hits. And that's what Steve is so good at doing. Forcing you to get those, to settle almost. Right. Yeah, finally getting the PK fire to the fair, but 64% and diamond up on Lukaska. This is so dangerous.
It's interesting because most of the time, easy counter, or quote-unquote easy counterplay to Steve is that when they start mining, just run into them and push them off the crafting table. Yeah. Syrup hasn't been doing that, which means every stocks but the first one, Lukaska has had diamond available to use and available to abuse.
Yeah. I mean, some people think, oh, it's an inevitability for Steve to get it, and yes, it is, but it's also such a big boon. You have to respect his moves so much more, and that shield pressure is so good, but excellent DI from Syrup to remain alive here. This is so dangerous. Still alive.
The DI is insane.
I cannot believe it. Oh my gosh.
Oh, and the forward air first Ness gets out before. Oh, third time's the charm on that one. Diamond back air. Not only does it do 18 on a single hit, but its knockback scaling is absolutely ridiculous.
To remain alive here. This is so dangerous.
Just playing the right
Still
game
alive.
The DI is insane.
I cannot believe it. Oh my gosh.
And the forward air first Ness gets out before. They want to get these huge starters. They want to blow you up with up air chains. And Syrup got exactly one chance to do so. Every other time, it was just got interrupted or blocked quite literally by these blocks.
Yeah.
That was just so hard for him to deal with.
I mean, the mix-ups out of side B are just innumerable. It is so difficult to account for all of them. And most of the time, you literally just give Steve advantage for trying to avoid it. Which is just, I don't know what they were thinking with that.